Before we move on to our next section, let's review what we've learned so far. Harassment can have a negative impact on both the employer and the employee, so in these situations, no one wins. Employees can include regular employees, temporary employees, and seasonal employees. Harassment violates not just the company policy, but it also violates the federal and state laws, which we have covered in today's training. Harassment involves unwelcome conduct that is based on any of the federal or state-defined protected classes that we have defined today. It becomes unlawful when the offensive conduct becomes a condition of continued employment or the conduct is severe or pervasive enough to create a work environment that a reasonable person would consider intimidating, hostile, or abusive. We also learned that there are different forms of harassment. We discussed examples of verbal, visual, and physical forms of harassment. We spoke on how harassment can be non-sexual and sexual in nature, including quid pro quo and gender-based harassment of a person of the same sex as the harasser. Another form of unlawful harassment that we reviewed includes behavior that creates a hostile work environment. A hostile work environment is created when the behavior interferes with a person's job performance or creates an intimidating or offensive work environment. It's important to remember that harassment can happen to anyone, regardless of their position. The harasser can be an employee or a vendor or even a client. You can experience harassment firsthand, secondhand, or even through a third party, such as a vendor, contractor, or client. You can also experience harassment at work and outside of work in another location where a business function is taking place. Regardless of who the harasser is or where it took place, remember, not only the harasser can be held liable, but the employer and the managers with knowledge of the harassment can be held liable too if it's not dealt with correctly and in a timely manner. Liability can include both civil and criminal penalties. Preventing harassment is a top priority. That is why there is an anti-harassment policy that includes a commitment to prevent harassment, investigate harassment, protect anyone from further harassment, and ensuring that the corrective action that is necessary takes place when needed. But we cannot do this without your support. Maintaining a harassment-free workplace is a team effort, and everyone must do their part. You must report harassment immediately. We have provided many different avenues for you to report safely through internal contacts and externally through the identified federal and state agencies. If you should have any questions in regard to the policy, please contact your human resources representative, your supervisor, or any member of management.